So, I want to talk about Star Wars, and largely, I have the Black Panther comic because it's something to look at while I'm talking. Um, but I realized something the other day. So I've been a Star Wars fan for quite a while, and for a long time since I was younger, and after The Last Jedi came out, I was one of the people who was upset, and vocally so, about the direction that the series and the saga had gone. But I realized something the other day. I've been frustrated and I've been mad for a while about it. And then Solo came out, and Solo was, I went and saw it. It was okay, but it wasn't that great. But it had some good elements. I legitimately thought it had some good moments in it. I'm just gonna leave on this page for a while. All that said, something that came out a few months ago, and I realized something with the recent leaks from episode 9 that came out. I realized that I don't care anymore. And there's this saying that I've heard in the past, I don't remember who said it, that the opposite of love is not hate, but indifference. Because when you're angry about something, and when you quote unquote hate something, you still love it enough to hate it. You know what I'm saying? It's when you stop caring at all about what's happening that the love is truly lost. So yeah, I realize I haven't been trying to find Star Wars news. I haven't been keeping up with it, and I don't care so much. And that's not to say, I mean, we'll see when episode 9 stuff actually starts coming out. But there used to be a time where I was really into, everything. Like, every time a new picture came out, every time a rumor dropped, or casting news, or anything. A piece of art came out, or I wanted to know about it. I was really excited. I was really hyped up. And honestly, I think The Last Jedi broke a lot of people in the sense that we were upset about it, but we hadn't given up on Star Wars. But then, in saying we were upset about it, people misconstrued what we were upset about. They strawmanned us, and they sidelined us. And so, after so long of that, eventually you just kind of go, we're done. We're done with this. We're not going to waste our time on this anymore. We're going to go off to other things we love. And I think that's what's happened. I don't think, some people say, oh, well, they oversaturated with Star Wars. And people are just tired. They got oversaturated. That's wrong. I'm sorry, that's wrong. People do not get tired of things they love. Human nature is one of repetition to some degree. We like things we like. If you like hamburgers, you might occasionally not want to eat a hamburger because you've had a lot of them, but you're never going to get so tired of hamburgers you're not going to go back to hamburgers. Or tacos, or if you're a person who likes skiing or snowboarding or something, you're not going to get tired of it. People do not get tired of things they love, and that also goes for movies. If people got tired of things they love, no one would watch football or baseball or soccer or basketball. They go back to those things because they love them. And things don't always go their way, but they still love it. Same thing for movies. People will keep coming back to a franchise over and over and over and over and over again, as shown by the success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because if they love it, right? So this idea that people get tired of things and get fatigued of things, people only get tired of things when things aren't going the way they feel they should go. So I just want getting that out of the way. I'm not the only person who's indifferent. I think by and large, tons of people they're just nobody's excited. Nobody cares right now about Star Wars. And I'm you paint with a broad brush. Somebody, I'm sure, cares about Star Wars. But by and large, I think most of us are just kind of sitting back and going, we'll see. We got our hopes up, and those hopes were dashed. And I'm going to segue into something else I want to say about it, is Star Wars. There are two contingents. I talked with a couple of my friends and coworkers today, and I realized there are two types of, I would say two types of people, but I'll say two types of fans regarding Star Wars now. There is those of us who feel, myself included, that Star Wars is a fantasy. All right? It's knights and wizards and dragons and monsters taking place in space. It's a fantasy, and it's basically the hero's journey told over and over and over again. It's a classic mythological tale that's simply been updated for the times. And when Star Wars is great, it's incorporating classic mythology and classic heroic themes. And it doesn't matter whether in modern times you believe in heroes or not, Star Wars embraces the hero story. Spoilers for Solo real quick, if you haven't seen it. 1, 2, 3, here we go. One of the things that worked really well in Solo is when he is on the Kessel Run and he's going through the nebula and there's a giant space kraken in space. Why? Why does that work? Why is that Star Wars? It's Star Wars, and it works because it is classic mythology. It's Odysseus trying to, navigate the ocean and not get sucked in by Charybdis, or Charybdis, however you say it. He's in the ocean. He's by himself. He's trying to navigate his way home, and there are sea monsters that want to literally drag him down to the depths. It's classic mythology in space. That is Star Wars. Now, the rest of the movie can be hit or miss, but that moment in that movie is Star Wars. And that's what makes Star Wars great. Now, some people think that sort of thing is stupid. They go, oh, that's not realistic. No, it's not realistic. It's Star Wars. And talking with my friend, he thinks that Star Wars needs to change. He thinks it needs to be updated with the times. He says Last Jedi was great because it abandoned those old world concepts of heroes and told a story, like a new story of what happens when there are no heroes in the world. And I guess, and I'm paraphrasing, maybe I'm getting his point wrong, I don't know. But he liked The Last Jedi. The thing is, The Last Jedi to me was not this amazing change. You get people going, you just don't like change. No, I'm sorry. Last Jedi wasn't, it was derivative, just like other Star Wars movies. That's not the problem. Because it ripped off The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi and mashed them together. So on that point, it was kind of Star Wars. But the problem is, it's someone coming into your home, your temple, and going, your religion is stupid. And you're stupid for believing it. And he ripped down... You know what? It just wasn't very good. Rian Johnson is I would argue a good filmmaker, but he doesn't understand Star Wars. Just like my buddy doesn't understand Star Wars from a classic fan perspective. He understands it from a new fan perspective. But the thing is, I don't think he thinks things need to change. I don't think things need to change. I think you can recycle the old stories and the old ways of doing things, and those are just as valid today as they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 100 years ago. I believe the hero's journey is just as valid and just as important for today's people and today's youth as it was 1,000 years ago. And that's what is great about Star Wars. And I would argue that that is why Star Wars was so successful across the globe. People keep saying the Star Wars fan base is, the diehards are such a small contingent. No, there are millions and billions of people across the globe that are fans of Star Wars. Why? Because it's part of the human condition to understand the hero's journey and to embrace that. So, problem is, Star Wars is broken, right? Whether you think I'm right or whether you think I'm wrong is almost irrelevant at this point. Star Wars is broken, and people are now indifferent to what's going on with Star Wars. There might be those few holdouts that aren't, but people are largely indifferent. And that's bad, guys. That's bad. That's a bad place to be for any franchise. That's what's happened to the DCEU largely. Because, they announce things and everyone goes, so what? Okay, so you're doing an Aquaman movie. We'll see how it goes. So you're doing a Shazam movie. We'll see how it goes. Oh, so you're doing 10 Batman type movies. We'll see how they go. Nobody cares. Nobody's invested. And I never thought I'd see Star Wars in that place. But we're there now, where nobody's invested and nobody cares. And yeah, that hurts. That hurts a little bit. As a fan of the series, it's kind of disappointing. So, that's pretty much it. I've gone on long enough about this. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Helps grow the channel. And you know what? And talk to me in the comments. I'd love to hear differing perspectives, or I'd love to hear people who think the same way as me. Are you indifferent to Star Wars? Even if you liked The Last Jedi, or you liked Solo, or whatever. I didn't, but if you did, can you not agree that something is wrong here, right? People aren't engaging with this property like they used to, right? So, let's talk to one another. What's going on here? So, anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate all of you. Have a great day.